Good morning, everybody. It's Stephanie Mo Davis. I'm here, and guess what? I moved again. My life is so wild right now, but I am so happy to say I am in the most beautiful location, 4 miles from Manhattan, and I couldn't be more blessed. That being said, it's been a hell of a journey to get here, but I've arrived and I'm here to make a new video today about the effects of panic and fear on transplant patients, especially right now with the circulation of the coronavirus. So, it is very important for people in general to be cautious, to take precautions, to be smart. But transplant patients, it's exceptionally important because we have compromised immune systems. We all know this. The scale of our immune systems is all different. For me personally, I run very low white blood cell count, in particular neutrophils, because of long-term steroid prednisone use from my initial condition, which was lupus. So for me, the long-term effects of the steroid actually compromised my bone marrow. So now I have to be extra cautious because I have a really lovely between like 2 and 3 white blood cell count running continuously. So what do we do when there's something like this potential pandemic that's being, circulated around? And what do we do as transplant patients? What can we do to be cautious? There's the obvious. I'm not an obvious kind of person. I'm the person who digs deep, who takes on another perspective, who sees the situation from a holistic scope. So I don't need to go into the uber obvious things that we need to do as transplant patients to be cautious about picking up an illness or a virus or a flu or worrying about this coronavirus. You all know you need to wash your hands. You all know that if you're going out in big public places or public transportation, you must be very cautious. You must use discernment with who you're sitting around, if they're coughing, if they seem sick. Wear a mask. We all know this stuff. This is so obvious. I don't even need to go into this obvious stuff, okay? What I'm here to talk to you about is the other aspect of picking up an illness when we're compromised, and that is the effects of fear and anxiety and stress, how that affects your immunity, okay? So your nervous system is connected to your immune system, and for transplant patients, our immune system and how we're functioning is this constant delicate balance of being under immunity with suppression, but being well enough that we don't get sick. So there's this fine line in this balance. I'm here to tell you that it is exceptionally crucial, especially when there's things like a potential pandemic, to consider your nervous system and how that affects your immunity. And what I mean by your nervous system is how you process stress, fear, anxiety, depression, things like that, because those emotions are very dense and they're very toxic for your nervous system. And as I said, your nervous system and your immune system are very good friends. They may even be lovers. So it's very important for you to manage your stress and to not go into a state of panic and fear. All right. So that being said, I'm not the type of person to just tell you what to do without giving you resources and tools. This is a huge problem in our society today. We say things like, be grateful, be happy, tomorrow's a new day, let it go. We have all of these really beautiful affirmations, and people jump onto this kind of false positivity thing we have going on, but nobody tells you the how. All right, so let's also be practical and realistic. If you don't know how to not be stressful, if you don't know how to move yourself out of fear, if you don't know how to control these emotions, then you need to speak up. You can't just buy into this hype and not say, hey, you know what, I actually need help with the how, because it might come easy for you to just let it go or be happy or not be fearful. But for me personally, I struggle with that. And that's okay to be vulnerable and open about that, because quite honestly, you're in the majority. As a whole, the aggregate of this community doesn't have the how on many things. We're just told what to do, but very often there's this bridge and this gap in care of, okay, I'm hearing what you're saying, right? But I don't know how to go about and do this. I need resources, I need help, I need a step-by-step guide to teach me how to process these feelings, or to teach me how to look into whatever it may be that you need on your transplant journey. You're just kind of left to your own defenses, most often in a compromised state or not feeling the best, to try to detangle and figure out all of this stuff. So, long story short, let's circle back into this idea of managing fear, panic, stress, and anxiety around news or information that we receive that could potentially be a threat. I'm talking specifically about the coronavirus. I've seen a lot of people in the transplant community start to, feel fearful. What do? I can't get a mask. What exactly are we supposed to do? You can feel the energy of fear. Fear, anxiety, and depression wreak havoc on your physical body, on your nervous system in particularly, as I said, which is directly correlated and corresponds and is coalesced with your immunity. So, if you feel that you have a high level of fear, a high level of stress, a high level of anxiety, what I want you to do is, number one, I'm holding a free online webinar on March 8th on Sunday morning here on East Coast Standard Time about giving you very specific tools to navigate through the fear and the complexities and the uncertainties of being a CKD patient, a dialysis patient, or a transplant patient. If you feel as though you do not need this information, then move forward. If you need this information, don't be too prideful to not just take it. I'm giving you this free information that I've developed over running my own wellness studios and yoga studios for 20 years, and also going through this process twice myself. So it's free. All you have to do is give your time if you care enough to want to improve your situation. That's the key. If you don't want to take the time to learn how to handle yourself and your own emotions, then I can't help you. You must be teachable, you must be open, you must be vulnerable, and you must want to improve. If you don't want to improve, me or anyone else in the world isn't going to change you. You're unteachable, you've made up your mind, and just switch on to something, like the Kardashians or some brainless material that entertains you temporarily. I'm talking about true self-improvement and empowerment that actually comes from within, which is a lot of work, folks. It's a lot of work. It's not just being a social media presence and doing your thing. Self-work takes a lot of work for yourself. It's very obvious. It is deep. It is difficult. It's challenging to face yourself and to work on aspects that could use improvement within yourself. It's a choice. It's a choice. So all I'm saying is I'm holding a free workshop on March 8th, webinar online, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But for now, you got a high level of fear. You got a high level of stress. One thing you have to understand is, number one, what I just said to you. Do you understand the effects of these emotions on your body? You must understand what this is doing to your body, and that may lead you to desire to make change. Again, if you don't get it, if you don't understand what your feelings are doing to your body, then why would you want to change? You're just going to get into a cycle of, well, this is how it is. I'm a transplant patient, so of course I'm fearful, and of course I'm stressed at times, and of course you don't have to be. If you understand, you can take steps and use tools to move yourself through stress and anxiety, but it must be a conscious choice. So first is to understand your feelings, anxiety, depression, fear, panic, have a major effect on your nervous system and your immunity. This will lower your immunity even more. This will put much more stress on your nervous system, making you more susceptible to picking up these things. Okay? So number one, the tool is to just simply understand. educate yourself, okay? Don't just buy in and constantly watch the media and create more fear for yourself than you need. Please. I don't have TV. I haven't had cable in, I don't know, a million years. I do educate myself online when I choose, but I do not sit there and perpetuate watching the media, okay? That creates a lot of fear in people. So be discerning, be smart, folks. I know you're all smart. So watch what you're watching, limit this kind of stuff, and notice when it's affecting you and turn it off. Go do something else. You must switch your environment to something more positive. It's a conscious choice, okay? Number 2, after you understand, you need to be willing to take action, okay? You can't just hope and pray it goes away. I am a girl of very much faith. God is my rock, I'm telling you, but I will say this, you can't just pray your problems away. You must pray, stay connected, and then take action. You're here on the physical world, physical realm, in a physical body. You're not in heaven where you don't have to make any choices and you're just with God and everything's just how it should be, right? You have to take action here in this physical body. So if you notice that you're developing a higher amount of fear or panic regarding getting sick, you need to recognize and then take action. How do I navigate? How do I start to manage my stress and my fear? Number 1, reduce the time you spent watching information about this. You all are educated already. There's not much more that you need to know, although that there is a virus going around and you need to take precaution. I'm not saying don't educate yourself or don't ever watch the news again. I'm saying you're probably rewatching it and rewatching it and rewatching it and watching it again now and seeing how many more people have it and what state it's in now and who's sick. Stop it. Stop. You're creating more of a problem for yourself, okay? So understand, take action, all right? Stop watching all that information. Do the necessary steps that we're told by our transplant team and any logical person would understand. Be clean, wash your hands, be cautious of who you're around as much as possible. I saw somebody make a post today, well, I'm a transplant patient and I work with kids and now I don't know what to do. Well, you might have to consider that. If you're having an exceptional amount of fear because your job includes working around a lot of sick people, that may be something that you need to consider. In fact, for myself, because of my specific circumstances, more than one, I'm not going to get into, I chose not to continue to go into the medical field because I did not want to work in a hospital. I know it's a controlled environment, but for me personally, I didn't want to put myself in that vulnerable state. It's very hard. You can't quarantine yourself as a transplant patient. You must go out and live your life. But you may need to be concerning depending on your specific case. As I said to you, my immunity runs exceptionally low, so I have to be smart. It is not wise for me to work in a middle school. It is not wise for me to work in a hospital. It's not wise for me to be around a ton of children all the time. You just got to be smart, folks, depending on your specific circumstance, okay? So from that point forward, change what you're watching, get the information, do the necessary steps. From that point, if you need help navigating stress and anxiety around this coronavirus, you probably already have underlying stress and anxiety, period. Right? If you're feeling more of a panic now, it's because you already had some low level panic, fear, anxiety running in your system already. So what I will say is this. I believe that every transplant patient and every human being who is walking this earth today has moments of stress, anxiety, and depression. I do not think anybody's immune. And don't believe the hype on social media or wherever. If somebody acts like they're happy all the time and their life is perfect, it's not. It's just a lie. So come on. So what I'm saying is, if you run low levels or even higher levels of stress and anxiety and depression revolving around your circumstance, your transplant, then you need to do activities and do things that promote well-being. The more you put yourself in circumstances that make you feel fearful, the more you worry about things, the more you worry about your health, going to the doctor, what your labs are going to say, when your transplant's going to fail, or if you're going to get a transplant, or how long you're waiting, or is this ever going to happen, or oh, now my finances are in the hole. Now I might lose my, like, I understand. It's so complex. It's so layered. All right. But what you need to do is simply think of this like a sliding scale. Okay. If you are constantly in worry, it is going to affect your nervous system, your immune system, and the health of every other system in your body. You must take action to try to balance out. You're not going to get to a place where you're never worried because you're a human being on planet Earth at this time. All right. You're going to have moments where you worry and you stress, okay? So what you need to do is you need to understand when you're slipping into more of a consistent state of stress, and you need to then be aware and say, all right, I got to stop myself here. I am going over the edge. I'm going across the bridge into this constant state of fear, fight or flight, fight or freeze, anxiety, stress, which is harming me. Okay? Nobody's going to tell you that. And it's nobody's job to have to tell you when you need to check yourself. You are an adult human being. Okay? I'm assuming that most people watching this are an adult. You're an adult. You know better, folks. You're smart. If you are starting to become overwhelmed, you got to check yourself. There's nobody coming to save you. Okay? Nobody should come to save you. All right. The only person, the only individual that you should be, hoping for that from is the God of your own understanding. There's no physical human being on this earth that's coming to save you. No doctor, no boyfriend, no girlfriend, no friend, no child. Nobody is coming to save you. You must learn to take care of yourself. And when you're a transplant patient, you got to learn quick, and you got to be resourceful, and you don't have time to mess around. You don't have time to play, like you don't know what's up. When you are overwhelmed, you must take steps to reduce what's overwhelming you as best as you can. And you must also incorporate things that are going to give you peace. So very simply, this is going to be the end of my video today. Let's be simple. Let's use a sliding scale. If your life is kind of, blowing up, you're having one of those moments where everything is going wrong, one by one, like you're detangling, like knotty hair, one piece, one strand at a time, one step at a time, isolate what's bothering you and see if there's anything that you can do about it. A lot of times you can make changes with certain things, and little changes with some of those things you're worrying about can make a very big difference with your mental health. Okay, so let's use for instance. If you're very stressed out about finances, very often there can be a way for you to get help. You can contact a company, you can ask a friend or a family member to borrow some money. That's a whole nother issue I'm not going to get into here, finances right now. But I'm saying there are things that often you can do. Very often people can be stubborn and they choose not to get help. They choose to perseverate in the depths of the pain and the struggling when they could actually reach out and get help. Okay? So you need to understand that there are things you can do to minimize some of your stress and your worry. Not all of it, especially as a transplant patient. You're going to have these low levels of stressors running throughout your life, okay? So see what you can do to reduce the struggle. But then also you must incorporate things that make you happy into your life, okay? So again, let's use the scale, the percentage. If you are 75% of your day or life is revolved around a lot of stress and worry, you're off kilter, okay? You're off balance, all right? Let's just shoot for 50-50. Let's not shoot for, I'm good, I'm happy, I am the most glorious golden child transplant patient you have ever seen in your life, everything's great. That's not real, okay? So let's just focus on getting to more of a 50-50. That seems more doable in my mind, more, something that we can attain. So if you're starting to feel 60%, 70% into worry and only 40, 30% in peace, you're off balance. Recognize that. I'm off balance. What can I do to get more in balance? Again, we talked about trying to reduce some of the worries and stressors, but then you must incorporate other things to help your well-being. If you love being around children and playing with your kids or seeing your grandkids, do that. That's bringing you positive energy. If you like art, go to a museum. I've been going to so many amazing museums here in New York City. I work with a woman who's blind and paralyzed, and it's been the most glorious experience of my life. And we often go to the Guggenheim and the Met and the Whitney. And looking at art and seeing other people's creativity brings so much pleasure and beauty to me. It helps my well-being. Right? If you're creative, you like to draw, you like to write, you like to make music, you like to rap, you like to do whatever, do the things that are going to bring you more peace to balance out your sliding scale. Okay? For me personally, meditation and a yoga practice and a mindfulness practice changed my personal experience with how I navigated stress. I've been doing it for over 22 years. I'll be talking a lot more about that in the future. And there are ways, guys, that this kind of stuff, yoga, meditation, can be accessible for transplant patients. I know there's so much stigma around, or, what we see on TV about what yoga is. It's none of that, okay? You need somebody to teach you who's been through the experience of transplantation, and I'll do that. You can do it, and it really can be a rewiring of how you think in your brain. It really can change your consciousness. It really helps you to heal lots of issues from your past, from whatever, to help you recreate the mentality, the thinking, and the consciousness that you should actually have. That's very deep. I'm not going to go more into that. But all I'm saying is, guys, this: fear, stress, anxiety, panic, worry about this virus, that's all going to make it worse. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave me a message. If you don't like my material, if it's triggering to you, I don't really care. You don't have to watch. It's a choice. I'm here to help. I'm not here to be the golden child. I'm not here to be famous. I'm not here to be recognized. I'm here to share with you the insights that I've gained along my very long journey that have so profoundly helped me. And that's it. All right, kids, have an awesome Friday. Welcome to Manhattan, where I'm very close to. I'm so happy to be making videos from this space. I'm going to really start to put out a lot more material and really get back out there again. But I needed to get in the right location. And for me, environment is exceptionally crucial, okay? This is another, I'm going to go on a tangent quick. I'm very sensitive. I am a very highly empathic person. I've known this my whole life. Empathy, being empathic, means you actually feel the emotions of others as your own. Okay, and then sometimes you actually try to process and transmute other people's hurts because it's just something you feel like innately you should do. It's not your job. But again, if you are this sort of a person, it's just something that naturally you want to do. And if you're processing your own feelings and emotions, and then you're trying to help and process, your family members, your friends, the cat down the road, it's gonna be a lot. So for me, environment is very, very important. I knew that I needed to move, and the past several years, since my second transplant, I've been on this journey, this process of finding my right location, which meant that I moved every 6 months for the last 3 years, by myself pretty much. And it's been very physical, and it's been difficult, it's been stressful, but I also understand that I was trying to find the correct location. I was trying to find the right environment for me to be as creative as possible, and I've landed. All right, kids, I love you. Have a great day. Bye.